Middle school badminton player Taiki has a crush on his upperclassman and star of the basketball team, Chinatsu. Both of them attend the same sport-centric high school where kids are there to hone their skills in their specific athletic disciplines. Taiki is a good but not great badminton player, and he is determined to make it to nationals, just like Chinatsu. At the start, Taiki admires Chinatsu from afar when they both get to the gym early to train. His slow progress at getting Chinatsu to notice him is set into overdrive when he learns that her parents are going overseas for work. Taiki panics, not only because the girl he likes is leaving, but because she won't be able to fulfill her dream of making it to nationals. Then he finds out that Chinatsu is staying with her mom's friend while her parents are overseas. She is staying in the same house as Taiki. Blue Box is the definition of wholesome, a slow-build romance between two athletes who care about their sports as much as they care about each other. While that description might not seem like Blue Box has what it takes to break you, Miura's blend of romance and sports argues for the arbitrary reasons we fall in love with who we do, and the difficulty of understanding that. If you enjoy this video, consider supporting my Patreon. Blue Box has just about every romance trope you can think of. Unexpected circumstances force our characters to live together, creating a sense of taboo in the relationship, and a love triangle quickly forms. On the sports side of things, we have two protagonists who are willing to do anything to get better. Tropes like this should always be met with some caution that the story will become cliché. While Blue Box toes that line, it always comes out on the right side of it through its ability to create relatable characters. Tropes stand out negatively when they are a replacement for drama. A love triangle becomes the worst thing imaginable when you have two characters that are already established to be perfect for one another, and then a third party comes in for the sake of drama, but we know the third party never has a shot. Miura never uses tropes as a crutch, but organically fits them into the narrative. While Chinatsu living with Taiki does create forced drama, Miura doesn't mind it for the instant payouts that he could. He could have Taiki accidentally walk in on Chinatsu in the shower, but he doesn't. The equivalent of a moment like that for Miura is when Chinatsu tells Taiki his shirt is inside out, and the real tension that forms when he turns it around. That is how you use tropes effectively. The blending of the sports genre becomes essential here. Taiki and Chinatsu are so focused on their athletic disciplines that the story always has a place to go. To stay alive in this school, you need to be willing to give up everything to push your athletic capabilities. Your status is solely based off of your ability to compete in your sport at a high level, and that type of constant competition bleeds into the way Taiki views getting into a relationship. One of the easiest metaphors for anyone to grasp is the sentiment that the person you like is out of your league. That metaphor is taken literally in Blue Box. Chinatsu's athletic excellence has put her in a different status in the minds of her peers, something that she is oblivious to. Most of the characters recognize the social hierarchy that comes from how good you are at your sport. Taiki's friend Kyo immediately acknowledged how far away Taiki is to ever be in consideration to go out with Chinatsu. That is what the characters think though, but Miura rejects the idea that any high schooler could be out of someone's league. When Chinatsu moves in with Taiki, he makes the assumption that he is now competing in an Olympic-level league. However, not long after living with her, it's easy to see that she is a teenager just the same as him. Blue Box uses the conventions of romance, exploring its tropes in a realistic way, to highlight how we fall in love for random reasons. The arbitrary nature of choosing your partner is brought up with Hina, the third romantic party. Hina is friends with Taiki and also happens to be one of the most accomplished athletes at the school for her achievements in gymnastics. Hina has developed romantic feelings for Taiki, and in all honesty, they seem like the perfect pair. They already have a strong connection shown by how long they've been friends, they compete in individual sports because they struggle working with others, and Hina has the exact kind of dedication that inspires Taiki. But it doesn't seem like Taiki has romantic feelings for Hina. For whatever reason, Chinatsu is the one that he's fallen for, and there is strong evidence that she's fallen for him. At first, it seems Chinatsu smiles at Taiki because she's nice. She smiles at everyone that way. But after she gets to know him better, those smiles turn into something different, and looks at him like this when he does something sweet. Not long after, you get the feeling that Chinatsu has feelings for him, and while Taiki agonizes over every little decision he makes, it becomes clear she is agonizing over the same things. All of these subtle emotions are detailed through Miura's artwork. Blue Box is a manga after all, so what does Miura do to elevate the story in the medium of comics? Romance novels live through the prose that it can make, and for films and television, chemistry is everything. For Miura, detailed drawings of the characters is what drives the romance forward. Almost once per page, Miura flexes his drawing ability and gives us these simple panels of characters just looking. These series of expressions make up the majority of the manga, and it is what makes everything we have talked about in Blue Box work. Miura has an ability to create attraction between characters with just a look. When you see panels like these, you fully understand why Taiki feels so strongly about Chinatsu. It is the quality of these drawings that makes it so important to read the manga instead of waiting for the anime, because I don't know if any level of animation can capture the feeling of reading these panels. Each one gives us a new hint into why these characters act the way they do, why they care so much about their activities and in return each other. Blue Box brings a heightened focus to a person's smallest reactions. There are so many panels where characters look indifferent, and we have to use context to thrust meaning upon to them. In hindsight, this is the perfect style of storytelling to match the overly obsessive culture of reading into micro-interactions. How quickly did someone respond, and how many exclamation points did they use? In the same way that we obsess over the smallest details of a Snapchat from our crush, Miura has us obsess over those same details in his characters' faces. Miura presents faces as the canvas for his art, and it elevates the way I look at the medium of manga. Manga is not the best medium for deriving meaning from
the epic nature of the human face.
As film director Kenneth Branagh puts it, cinema is the ultimate face-exploring medium. The insights you get from seeing a face blown up on a movie screen is unmatched. But Blue Box's emphasis on faces provides us insights to something you can only find in manga. Whether you are reading on a tablet or have the physical volume in your hand, you have those faces up close, pulled out of a moment that you've created in your head. Unlike cinema where time is always passing, in manga you can sit and revel in the small details that make up the human face, even if you're just looking at a drawing of one. By doing this, Miura brings attention to the vast range of emotions that we place on other people. In many of these moments, I read the characters differently than the characters themselves do. I will see a face as content, and they will comment on how it's sad. Reading into a person's emotions like this is a fool's errand, and yet it is maybe the most essential way we communicate. The focus on faces isn't the only superb aspect of Blue Box, but the genre mixing of sports and romance, while certainly not a new concept, adds a lot to the ideas Miura presents. Taiki and Chinatsu both want to be the very best in the nation, and they put in an extreme amount of work to try and achieve that. Out loud, they say the only thing that matters to them is winning, but the results speak for themselves. They enjoy getting up early to practice and make connections with their teammates. The process of competing every single day is what the characters enjoy, and the same goes for romance. Everyone dreams about the moment where they can finally start dating, or for Taiki, his dream of getting married. But what they really care about, just like in sports, is being able to hang out with that person every day. In that sense, romance is actually incredibly mundane. There are many characters in the series who are heartbroken that the person they like doesn't like them back. It is often impossible to quantify why you fall for who you do. The only choice you have is to try your best at conveying your feelings to them and hoping they share them. In a time where we mind the smallest details of a person's actions and take away a mountain of meaning, It is important to remember the arbitrary nature of romance and the odd way it manifests. Nothing can break you quite like a failed romance. Blue Box captures the fear of not having shared feelings with someone and the downright terrifying outcomes when that's the case. But it also captures why we should be willing to overcome that fear for the times when those romantic feelings are reciprocated. It mixes those two outcomes in the same way it uses sports to frame the romance genre, and the finished product is sure to break you. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and other of my videos, consider supporting my Patreon. Hope to see you in the next one.